what was the big CDC information which you mentioned earlier before the video cast began? It's on RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com. So if you guys didn't see this, the CDC has extended the conditional sailing order. They're going to extend it temporarily until mid-January, at which point it will expire. Basically, they're just doing a couple more months. They're actually rolling back a couple of things within it. Honestly, here's the takeaway. It doesn't matter. Nothing changes. For everybody's got cruises coming up, there's no reason to believe anything has changed. It's just the same as it was. So there's really no reason to believe that it's a problem. It's just things are just the status quo is being kept up. And then in January, mid-January, it will go to being it'll be the cruise lines basically have already said to the CDC, we'll continue following on a voluntary basis. You don't need to have this. Thus, they'll do that. So that's the big takeaway. All the details at RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com. Is the main dining room serving breakfast and lunch? The main dining room is serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day of the cruise. It only serves lunch on sea days. So when your cruise ship is in port, it will not serve lunch. But otherwise, you are good to go, my friend. You are good to go. We're new to cruise, never been to the Caribbean, have a day at Nassau, but I don't know what to do. What would you recommend? Would you recommend anything? Pete, thanks for the question, my friend. Yes, I would recommend, actually, number one, you want to book an excursion in advance. So you're asking, hey, what should I book? Well, there's a lot of great places to go. I think the two that really stand out, Pete, especially right now today, is through Royal Caribbean. It's called Blue Lagoon and Pearl Island. These are beach day excursions. You book them through the cruise line. They're very well rated. They're a lot of fun. Basically, you board this little boat, it brings you to a little private island. You hang out there at Blue Lagoon. You can do a bunch of things, or just hang out at the beach. They have like animal encounters, or again, just a beach day, or a combination of both. It's really nice. I've been to Blue Lagoon. I'd like to go back. Maybe I will go back at some point. But it's a good spot. That's what I would recommend. Lori wants to know, if I was the Royal Caribbean CEO for the day, what would I do? Change, add? Boy, that's a great question. I mean, whew, man, that's a loaded question, Lori. What would you guys do? What would you, if you could pick one thing you could change, and it's got to be within reason, right? You can't make, if you're like, I want to get rid of all the protocols. Okay, great, except you can't do that because the CDC says you can't. So come up with something that doesn't have to do with COVID per se. What would mine be? I would, boy, I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to think of what I would do. This is a very self-serving, but I would probably I would have a sit-down chat with whomever the person is. I'm not sure which department it is, whether it's food and beverage, whether it's somebody else. Say, we've got to figure out the dress codes because it's way too confusing. Either we have them or we don't. Let's enforce them. That'd be one thing that comes to my mind. That I'm trying to think of non-COVID stuff that I would change if I were the CEO for the day. But I'm sure there's bigger things that maybe some of you guys will come up with some good ideas and I'll steal them and call them my own. Excellent. What is there to do in St. Thomas? St. Thomas is a beautiful island. There's a couple of things that really stand out to me. Number one, Magens Bay. Magens Bay is one of the most beautiful beaches in the world. Wonderful. Go there. You have downtown Charlotte-Amalie. That has great shopping as well and dining. Great place to go. Some people like to do a combo of both. They'll start the day off at the beach and then go to Charlotte-Amalie for some shopping and then back to the ship, or one or the other. Doesn't matter. You've got Mountaintop at Havensight, which is a great view, as you might imagine, at the top of the mountain. And you go up this, like it's like a gondola that takes you up to the top. Great views up there, as well as one other thing, which is my favorite thing to do, Carol, and that is to take a ferry over to St. John, which is a neighboring island that's absolutely stunning. I think Magens Bay is beautiful, but I think St. John is even more beautiful. But I would go to Magens Bay if you've never been there before. That's what I would say would be number one. Kate's got a question for us. Hi, Matt. I've seen huge hype on storage cubes. You're asking the wrong person, Kate. I am not a preacher at the altar of storage cubes. I kind of understand them. I don't get them. I don't have them. I think I just don't see the point of them, quite frankly. Now, one of my very good friends, Sherry from Cruise Tips TV, that's her YouTube channel. She loves it. She is probably the holy Buddha of storage cubes, okay? She loves these things. She told me about them many, many times. I'm like, listen, I know that it probably works really well for your Mazda Miata, but for me, not so much. So maybe someone in chat can explain the hype on storage cubes. I am not that person. I would say, Sherry, close your ears if you're around. Don't buy them. But that's my personal opinion on it. Also, if my wife was here, she would say, I don't know why you have an opinion on it because you're not the one who does the packing for the family. That's also a fair point. Royal Caribbean inform you when they change cruise itineraries. Yes. And what are my options if I don't like the new ports? Little to nothing. Or that's not quite true. yes, you should get an email from Royal Caribbean or your travel agent or both informing you of the change. Generally speaking, unless if they're swapping out ports, they're not going to give you much of anything for compensation wise. If they were to radically change things, maybe. But truly, Henry, with the cruises confidence program that Royal Caribbean has right now, you can cancel up to 48 hours before you're sailing, get a 100% future cruise credit, and then go book something else instead, right? You could do certainly that, but they don't give you part of the cruise contract that you agree to when you book the cruise is they can change the itinerary as they see fit. You don't have to visit any places according to the cruise contract. That's the plan until it's not the plan. So I would say if you truly don't like it, that's okay. Cancel under the cruises confidence program, get a 100% future cruise credit, and then book the sailing you'd like to do. That's probably your best bet, quite frankly. Quentin, you just inspired me. I changed my answer. What would I do if I was Royal Caribbean CEO? I would make, and forget the revenue department on this one, I would make the chat feature on Royal Caribbean's app free. It is silly. I guarantee you no one's buying it anyway at $1.99 per person per day, because that's what it costs to use the chat feature. I say make the chat feature free. It's an enhancement. It's better. If you want, heck, make it free for anyone who's in Crown and Anchor Society, and only people who've never cruised before, with Royal, maybe pay for it. But make that free. It's a benefit. It makes people want to use the Royal Caribbean app, which allows them to do so much more, which is, by the way, a major goal for Royal Caribbean. They want everyone using the app. Make the chat feature free. That's what I would do. Anyway, Quentin inspired me with his answer. As the CEO, I would improve the Royal Caribbean app to be more user-friendly, like Carnival, and maybe that's kind of on the same length over there. Do I think that vaccine requirements are here forever? No, forever is a really long time. I don't think forever. Do I think they're here for a while, like in the short term? Yeah, absolutely. I just don't even. Let me put it this way, Stacey, and I could be 100% wrong because I don't know more than you do on this, but I don't expect I expect there to be vaccine requirements at least through next year. I mean, again, I don't know more than you do. I just think that COVID really has to be in the rear view mirror for society before that can really go away. The cruise lines, fair or not, and it's unfair, are held to a much different standard than every other aspect of life out there. They are still very much associated, synonymous with COVID-19. And that's not right. It's a double standard. You all understand that. I'm preaching to the choir here, but that's the general public's perception. And for those reasons, they've got to do what they've got to do. Matt, is Royal Caribbean enforcing boarding times for suite guests, or are they able to board at their leisure? Not at their leisure, Jonathan. Generally speaking, they are basically telling people, like, as an example, I'm staying in Star Class in November, and my genie told me, and this has been true of most of the suites I've stayed in, that you can have plus or minus an hour of your check-in time as long as the terminal is open. So what that means, Jonathan, is if you had a 1 o'clock check-in time that you got through Royal Caribbean and you're staying in a suite, your concierge would email you, number one, to let you know this would be possible. And then second, I could then show up as early as noon in order to get in there. But it's not like it was. I know you're asking, like, it's basically like it was in 2019 where you could show up at any time. Not quite. I booked a guarantee ocean view balcony. Can we change or upgrade if we don't like the assigned stateroom? Well, it's a great question, Jeanette. So when you get your room assigned, you can change the assignment. Like, let's say they give you an ocean view balcony, whatever category they give you, and there's another room of the same category that's available that you'd rather go to. Absolutely, yes, you can transfer to that room, no problem. In terms of upgrading, generally speaking, they'll always take your money. I would say it's worth the try. There's been many situations where I've been well past final payment date, but basically, if at the end of the day you want to spend more money than you've already paid for your cruise, I've had pretty good luck with that. When I say I've had pretty good luck with it, I really mean my MEI travel agent has had pretty good luck with that. No issues there at all. So, any pointers on what to do during the Port Canaveral stop? Will be there in April. Not sure if I should even get off the ship. Kennedy Space Center is amazing. If you've never been there, I would highly recommend Kennedy Space Center. It is not only interesting, it is a incredible testament to the United States and its history of space travel. It's really cool. You don't have to be a huge nerd to really appreciate it. I think it's just inherently a very fun place to go to, very easy to get to as well. Otherwise, you go to Cocoa Beach, hang out the beach. Might be a bad thing to do. What is the recommendation you'd recommend for a shore excursion in Cozumel? Two places I love, Paradise Beach and Nachi Kokum. Nachi Kokum is a all-inclusive. Paradise Beach is a pay-as-you-go, but a very low cost. It's good for people who don't drink a lot or going to spend the whole day there and or don't want to, all-inclusive would be a waste on them. Both of these are booked on your own, not through Royal Caribbean, but I do like them quite a bit. Check out RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com. We have updates on the new November protocols and the CDC's update with the conditional sail order. All the details there over at RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com. royalcaribbean.com. Until then, until our next live chat, have a great week, everybody. Stay safe out there. Do something fun like book a cruise. And we'll talk again very soon right here on YouTube. Bye, everybody.